For Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa farajum. Let's please recite a Surah Fatiha for Kul Mu'min wa Mu'minat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa farajum. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa farajum. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa farajum. Bismillah. Alhamdulillah. Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Let's please recite a Surah Fatiha for Kul Mu'min. Stuck right here. Sorry, no, not. Let's again. Let's recite a Surah Fatiha for Shahidi Karbala. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa farajum. Bismillahir Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Malik Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim, siratal ladzina an'amta 'alayhim, ghayril maghdubi 'alayhim waladdallin. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahus samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahus samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, say He, Allah is one. Allah is He on whom all depend. He begets not, nor is He begotten, and there is nothing like Him. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa farajum. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa farajum. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa farajum. Translation to Surah Fatiha. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Master of the Day Judgment. Thee do we serve, and Thee do we beseech for help. Keep us on the right path, the path of those upon who Thou has bestowed favors, not the path of those upon whom Thy wrath is brought down, nor who have gone astray. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Ya Allah, we pray to You on this night. It's a No Chandi night. You know, No Chandi is a very important night in the Islamic calendar. It means the first moon of Thursday night, Friday. That's the first moon of the month. And on that day, there is, I always say that Allah created in a special wavelength, a special highway, super highway to hear and to answer our prayers. If you look at the expediency, when you call to Allah for a prayer, and by the time He answers it, it travels faster than the speed of light, even if you think about the distance that your dua probably travels, right? And it's answered just as quickly a lot of times as you ask for it, as you even think about it, right? And so in order for that to be possible, it would be necessary for duas to travel faster than light, faster than sound. And so on this night of Chandi, duas reach Allah even quicker. And so, it's a very good night to pray, especially that Allah will forgive all of our sins, right? And so before we do that, let's ask that Allah purifies our intention. Our intention is important. See, the power of your dua is directly related to the clarity and the purity of your intention, right? We'll talk a little bit about that throughout as the program progresses. But first, let's ask Allah to purify our intentions. Ya Allah, on this night of No Chandi, we ask that You allow us to get the maximum benefit from the duas that we're going to do tonight. The maximum enlightenment, the maximum spiritual tranquility, the maximum emotional support, the maximum psychological support, the maximum alleviation of stress, the maximum forgiveness, and the maximum benefits from these dua. We ask that we get those from You tonight because of the fact that we're going to do ibadah tonight with pure intentions. Ibadah tonight is not for selfish purposes. It is for the praise of Allah. And we understand, Allah, that part of praising You is asking nobody or nothing for anything other than asking You. So yes, we're going to have ridiculous demands and ridiculous duas, Ya Allah, but that doesn't mean we're not praising You, because who else are we going to ask for these kinds of things? So Ya Allah, as we continue to praise You tonight, please purify our intention. And give us the creativity, ability, the realness, the intimate connection with You, where we can be real with You and ask duas from You and expect from You, but still be doing it only for Your benefit and only for Your praise. Because that's really what we want to do, Ya Allah. Nothing is worthy of praise except for You. And although we on this earth like things that we want to have that we'll think it'll make our life better, when our life is always the best because you choose the path for our life every second of our life. But we're going to glorify you today. We're going to glorify you through dua. We're going to glorify you through remembrance, both from the words of your beloved in the form of dua and by your own words in the form of the Quran and by our own words in the duas that we're going to ask from our heart. And so please make us the types of servants that are great servants to you and are perfect servants to you. And then take our dua and first give blessings on Prophet Muhammad and the family of Prophet Muhammad. And let them accept us as their lovers. And when they accept us as their lovers, and you acknowledge that they accept us as their lovers, and you acknowledge us as the lovers of those whom you love, at that point, Ya Allah, please give everything that we ask for, everything that we ask for to our brothers and sisters in Islam, to the needy, to the widowed, to the orphan, to the desolate, to the oppressed, and then after all that, then give it to us, because there's no timetable to your blessings. Your blessings have no beginning, nor do they have any end point, just like you don't, Ya Allah. You are the ever living, and make your blessings to us ever living, and make your forgiveness to us ever living. And on this day, Ya Allah, please make us do every act with the best of intention. Bar Muhammad wa ala Muhammad sallallahu. So many reasons why Allah is the only thing we should praise. For obvious reasons, that Allah is one, Allah is all powerful. But Allah understands, Allah needs nothing from us. So there's no selfish motive when Allah fulfills your prayers. You see, if Allah needed or was even happy, pleased with us when we praise Him, then that the emotion of feeling pleased, or that act, or the act of being pleased, is a positive reaction to something. And so even if you do something for a positive reaction, it's not necessarily done for completely selfless reasons. That's why we're asking Allah to purify our intentions, right? But Allah needs nothing from us, right? And Allah is not affected by us, right? That's why when you ask Allah for your duas, Allah will fulfill your duas. Why? Because Allah is generous. Why? Because by asking Allah, I'm going to ask nobody but you for this, that's acknowledging Allah's greatness. And Allah understands that because He understands you, right? And so there's so many different reasons why we should praise Allah. I introduced the story of a friend of mine who he was, his father had passed away about a year ago. And a few months ago, his mother passed away, and he was having a very hard time dealing with life. And so he decided to deal with it in, not so positive manner. He started to give into his addiction to gambling, addiction to drugs. And it was really destroying his life, right? I actually, to be honest, I didn't know what was going on. I knew his mother had died, and I knew every week or so I was getting a text from him asking me to send him, to plug that black water, asking me to send him some money, $10, $15, $25. And so I called a mutual friend of mine. I said, "Hey, here's what's going on. Is everything okay?" He said, "Yeah, he's having a gambling addiction, and and other addictions that he's having trouble getting under control." So I started calling him up instead of just sending money and talking to him and saying, "Hey, what's going on? You want to hang out, this and that, right?" He hated himself for what he was doing. He said, "Everyone hates me, and my friends hate me, and my family hates me, and I don't know what's going on." And I explained to him, I said, "Look, maybe right now you're acting like you hate yourself." Anyways, I'm not going to get into the therapy that I provided this gentleman with, but what ended up happening is one day he sent me a message. He's like, "Komail, I just wish I could get something right away that would help me. I want it to work right away, and I want it to be easy, right?" And so I looked and I found, let me see where I can find this. Anyway, so I sent him a dua, right? It's a dua that's supposed to help with addiction, right? And I'll show you. I wrote it and cover it up. I wrote it in a text message, right? Okay, and I sent it to him, and it said, it's 4 words of Allah, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 names of Allah, right? As-Sami, the all-hearing; Al-Basir, the all-seeing; Al-Alim, the all-knowing; Al-Kabir, the most high; Al-Raqib, the watchful; Al-Shahid, the all-witnessing, right? And I just typed these names out I'd done a little bit of research that they're supposed to help with addiction, and I sent it to him. And he's like, "What's this?" I said, "It's a prayer." I said, "You can do what you want with it." I said, "But read it and maybe keep it with you. And when you start feeling like you're giving into addiction, then maybe read it again." I said, "Or whatever you want to do." I said, you have it, and it'll help you." And so from that point, for about another week, he started to make good decisions. Right? He ended up going on meetings. He ended up, helping out with the family business. He ended up getting a job in his own gig. He's hanging out more with his family. He was defeating his addiction, right? So exactly a week later, he calls me up and he's like, "Hey, Komail, I've had a great week, man. It's been going good." I said, "It has been, right?" He's like, "Yeah, I was really feeling really, really happy, really good that, positive on what's going on." He's like, "Thank you. Thank you." I said, "Thank me for what?" He's like, "You've been helping me." And so I told him, I said, "Hey, do you remember what you sent to me last week? You said that you wanted something that would help you immediately. You remember what I sent you?" He's like, "Yeah, I remember." I said, "Don't forget to thank the one that actually fixes things, right? Don't forget to actually thank the one that actually fixes things, right? Because, me giving him the names of Allah isn't Allah fixing anything. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I was a tool that Allah was using, inshallah, to help this friend of mine, right? And what I thought was interesting, and this is what I want to get at, and I'm going to touch on this throughout the program today, is when I said that, he changed the subject. And I don't know if it's because he was awkward because we're talking about something real, but to me, it seemed like maybe he was denying a miracle. Well, not a miracle. He was denying Allah's work when it was sitting in front of him, right? And that's why I say it's important that we purify our intentions, right? Because our intention isn't to be uh, outside of Allah and to be individual, to find a solution outside of Allah. When I ask for my du'as to get kabul, I want them to happen with as little intervention as possible from something else. So I see that, you know what I mean? If I ask, "Oh, yeah, Allah, I'm craving a burger. I want it to appear in front of me." Like, "Oh, Allah sent this burger." I don't want to have to go get it from the store, which I know is ridiculous, right? But I'm just saying that's, and if it appeared in front of me, I would be not as, any more surprised than if I was driving and I saw a new halal place, right? Because Allah fulfills your du'as in different ways. But that's why when your intention is pure, in Surah Yasin that we're going to recite tonight, it says that too, that some people's heads cannot be turned to the right and left and up and down. They just see straight. They just see what they want to see, right? And so it's our choice, whether we could look at Allah's communication with us and realize that, wow, this is a dua that you sent me, and now this works. So maybe I'll use this in something else, or to say, "Oh yeah, that may have been the case, but I had a great week," right? And the funny thing is, Allah didn't stop helping you. It's not funny. It's the obvious thing that Allah didn't stop helping you. Anyways, I wanted to focus a little bit on the intention. One of the power of your dua being in the intention of your dua. So this is the first story I'll tell tonight. There's a couple more. Promise they get a lot shorter, right? But first, let's give a lot of love for Brother Samad. He's going to explain today's program to us. Bar Muhammad, wa ala Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. Assalamu alaikum mu'minun. Today's program will be continued as followed by with Hadith Qissa, then the recitation of Surah Yasin, then Surah Jummah, Dua Komail, and Zarat. But before we go ahead and continue, let's go ahead and get a Surah Fatiha for Mu'min Mu'minat, for Marhum Tahir Mu'min, the Mu'min family, the Sagrawala family, the Dosa family, the Qasimali family, the Reza family, Heather Ali Jarinya, and Mu'min Mu'minat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul huwallahu ahad. Allahus samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul huwallahu ahad. Allahus samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul huwallahu ahad. Allahus samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. Not. We're going to have the recitation of Hadith Qissa, but right before that, this is a poem right before we get into the actual story of the cloak. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hadith Qissa, the story of the cloak. Sourced by the light, for it was she who spoke. About a house most blessed and purified above any other. The house of a light of Rasulullah, the house of a mother. Where Abu Qasim sat next to himself, sat next to his brother. And then inside the cloak came the light, bright enough to illuminate all sight. Born from destiny, created from the highest intensity, in came the mother. May Allah send blessings on none other than Muhammad's family for all eternity. May he quickly return my living mom to me. All five inside a single Yemeni. Angels huddled tight on the night of paradise, stretching as far as the light can see, but they would never be. As pure as 2 + 3, a cloak like no other, a Yemeni, a comforter sitting with the family tree, a perfect circle with the immaculate company. God's love and his progeny, the flesh in his blood, in his blood is his blood. If you are at war with him, then he said you are at war with me. May Allah send blessings on Muhammad's family. For eternity, may he quickly return my living mom to me. Hazrat Jibreel saw them run 5s then. Asked Allah if he can run 3 on 3. Allah said, fly from Iliyin down to earth, deliver this message of purity. The sixth man among the 5 you are allowed to be. Assembled was the greatest team in history. The house of the light of Muhammad, Ibadat, and the prophecy. The house of Fatima Zahra, her father Muhammad, her husband Hazrat Ali, Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, children of the lion and the light, masters of the youth of paradise, Al-Mujtaba, the king of the Shaheed, the sons of Qamar Bani Hashim, her progeny, the greatest angel and the immaculate 5, the most beloved to ever live and be alive, purest house of the world has ever seen, for the sun, for the moon, for the rotating cosmos and the sailing ships were created for no other than thee. May Allah send blessings of Muhammad's family for all eternity. May he quickly return my living mom to me. Now we spoke of the greatness of the event of the cloak. Angels are surrounding you and me. Never again stressed, never again sad, nor disappointed, nor mad will we ever be. If you have a prayer, he will answer. Now is the time to implore it on he. Whatever you request, this time is best. For you and I, we have achieved success from the moment all the way till Akhirah. Wal Rabbul Kaaba. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa farjum. Let's get a loud salawat for brother Asr Dosa for coming up for Hadith Qissa. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa farjum.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari and Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salamu binti Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa salama qala samiyat Fatimata annaha qalat dakhala alayya abi Rasulullah fi ba'd al-ayyam faqala assalamu alayka ya Fatimatu فقلت عليك السلام قال إني أجد في بدني زوفا فقلت له أوزك بالله يا أبته من الزوف فقال يا فاطمة ائتني بالكساء اليمني فغتيني به فأتيته به وصرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلله كأنه البدر في ليلة تاميه وكميله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولي ذا الحسن قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أمه فقلت وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وسمرة فؤادي فقال يا أمه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله فقلت نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه يا رسول الله أتأذن لأن أدخل معك تحت الكساء فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوزي قد أذنت لك فدخل معه تحت الكساء اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد فما كانت إلى ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أمه فقلت وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وسمرة فؤادي فقال لي يا أمه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنه رائحة جدي رسول الله فقلت نعم إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء فدان الحسين نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه السلام عليك يا من من كتره الله أتأذن لأن أدخل معكما تحت الكساء فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافي أمتي قد أذنت لك فدخل معهم تحت الكساء اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله فقلت وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رياحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن أمير رسول الله فقلت نعم هو هو ها هو ما ولديك تحت الكساء فأقبل علي نحو الكساء فقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء فقال والسلام عليك السلام يا أخي ويا وسيي وخليفتي وصاحب لواء قد أذنت لك فدخل علي تحت الكساء اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء وقال وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بزاتي قد أذنت لك فدخلت تحت الكساء اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرف الكساء وأومأ بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال عليه اللهم إني هؤلاء أهل بيتي وكهستي وحماتي لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي يلموني ما يليمنهم ويحزنوني ما يحزنهم أن حرب لمن حرابهم وسلم لمن سلامهم وعدو لمن أداهم ومهيب لمن أحبهم إنهم مني وأنا منهم فاجل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورزوانك علي وعليهم وأذهب عنهم الرسا وتطهيرهم تطهيرا فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مديهية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مزية ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلك يسري إلا في محبتي هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة ومدين رسالتي هم فاطمة وأبوها وبلاه وبنوها اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. فقال جبرائيل يا ربي أتأذن لأن أهبط إلى الأرض لا أكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك. فأهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله عليه ألا يكرهك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مزية ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فهل تزانوا لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمين وهل الله إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء فقال لي إن الله قد أهوى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله لا يصبح عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. فقال علي لا أبي يا رسول الله أخبرينا ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبر هذا في محفل من محفل أهل الأرض وفي جاهم من شيتنا ومهيبنا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يستفرقوا. فقال علي عليه السلام إذن والله فزنا وفاز شيتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال النبي ثانيا يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محافل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جم من شيتنا ومهيبنا وفيهم مهمون إلا وفرج الله هماه ولا مغموما إلا وخشف الله غامه ولا تليب حاجة إلا وكازل له حاجته. فقال علي عليه السلام إذن والله فزنا وسودنا وكذلك شيتنا فازوا وسويدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وجل فرجهم.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وجل فرجه. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وجل فرجه. What a beautiful recitation of Hadith Kissa. The last story I told was about a friend of mine who was given a dua to help him, and when instead of acknowledging, well, I don't know his intention, but it was a dua that helped somebody who, with their addiction, and a week later when he was reminded of the dua, he kind of didn't want to talk about the dua again, right? And so we're talking about how Allah communicates with us and how our intentions in our dua, our intentions should be powerful, so our dua is powerful, right? Especially on a night like tonight where it's no Chandi. And so I want to talk about another story, right? I was listening to Sports Talk Radio, and I'm not sure who was on. It was some, I think it was some football lineman, okay? I know he was a defensive lineman, right? I'm not sure who it was though, but he was talking about how they were talking about superstitions and how superstitions don't mean anything in sports, right? And so he said that one year when he was going out to a game when he was in college, no, sorry, he was a pro. And when he was going out to a game, a lady approached him and said, "Here, if you read this prayer and splash water on your face before the game, you're going to play amazing." And so he did that, and he went out and he had a great game. And so he did that again the next day, and he did that for the rest of the season. For 14 games, he did that. Every game is he said this prayer, right? He didn't say what denomination she was, but the way he talked about it, it seemed like she might have been same denomination as him, and I'm guessing he was Christian. He wasn't a Muslim guy, right? And so, gave him this prayer, and he would all splash water on his face. And so they started being like, "Oh, is it holy water?" They're making fun of the superstition. He's like, "No, just regular tap water." Like, so what? Would you still do that? He's like, "No, man, I stopped doing that." Like, I thought to myself, "This is crazy. That this is helping me, right? There's no way, right?" And they're like, "Well, how'd you do that?" So he's like, "I had the best season ever." Well, did you have as good a season after? I was like, "No, that was the best season I ever had." Right? "Oh, but you never went back and ready?" "No, man, I'm not going to do that stuff." Right? And so again, this is a man who's given a prayer, right? Allah found the vessel, the avenue to come and present him with this prayer that was going to help him in his profession. And when it helped him, he denied it. He said, "Oh, that's not what's helped. It must be something else." And even though his season, he never had as great a season as he did that year, he still is incapable of seeing the power of dua, right? And so, you have a choice. You have a choice if you could see the benefits that Allah gives us and see them as benefits from Allah, or the benefits that Allah gives us and know we have, food because we live in California and never has food, right? We have food because I have a job. I have a job because I have an education, right? And everything you have, you can look at it as your accomplishment, something else's accomplishment, and take something other than Allah, or you can understand that nothing happens without Allah's power, right? And when you ask for dua and Allah answers your prayer, the best thing to do is to thank Allah for the prayer, right? To thank Allah thank you for answering my prayer. Thank you for this benefit you gave. You could be a thankful person, right? Or you could be a person who rejects very obvious signs in front of you, like this NFL guy who's like, "I had the best season because of this prayer, but I stopped doing it because it was ridiculous." His statement is ridiculous to me. It's just like, Imam Zain al-Abidin used to see people not listening to Imam Hassan and would wonder, why aren't you listening to this man? He's telling you the secret. He's telling you the hack. Everyone wants life hacks. Well, here's a life hack: recite salawat. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that easy. But people just want to deny A, that Allah would make it that easy, and B, that that is the case. How are words going to make a difference? Well, it's not. You need to understand what your words are and who you're saying them to, right? And that's why when you're asked for dua tonight, understand there's power in your dua, and the power in your dua is only as powerful as the power of your intention, right? So let's have powerful intentions tonight for a powerful dua. Now, in the tradition of Thursday nights, now we're going to have a recitation of the Holy Quran. Brother Wasi Heather is going to recite Surah Yasin, and that will be followed by Surah Jummah. So please, with a loud salat, welcome Brother Wasi Heather to recite Surah Yasin. Bar Muhammad wa ala Muhammad salawat. Allah salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Yasin wal Quran al-Hakim. Innaka laminal mursalin ala siratal mustaqim. Tanzil al-Aziz al-Rahim. لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول علي أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب وبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم إنا نحن نحيي الموتى يا ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين وأضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فأززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا أبلغ المبين قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب عليم قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يقوم اتبعوا مرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون أتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردني الرحمن بزر لتا تغني عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون قيل ادخلي الجنة قال يا ليت قوم يعملون بما غفر لربي وجعلني من مكرمين وما أنزلنا علي قومه من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون يا حسرت على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون وأيهت لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وعنب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسه ومما لا يعلمون وآيات لهم الليل نسلخ منه النار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عدا قال أرجعون القديم لا شمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآيات لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في أفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشاء نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنتم ومن لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلي أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجدث إلي ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بأسنا من مركزنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع الذين محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على أولئك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم وآمتزوا اليوم أيها مجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم أن ألا تعبدوا الشيطان إنك لكم عدو مبين وإن أعبدوا هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أنزل منكم جبلا قصيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم تعبدون أصلها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم علي أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا علي عينهم فاستبقوا صراط فأني يبصرون ولو نشاء لمشقناهم علي ما كان نتيهم فما أستطيعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نأمره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يأكلون ما صل على محمد وآل محمد صلوات
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر والقرآن المبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحكى القول على الكافرين أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وزلناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون وأتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينذرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرعون وما يعلنون أولم يرى إنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر علي أن يخلق مثلهم بلي وهو الخلق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فالصبح
At the part of Yasin where, or anywhere in the Quran where you read it says kun fayakun, that means be and it is. That's a very good time to ask for your dua. So let's ask for dua. Certain.
yeah, no worries.
Ask for dua.
Ya Allah, please help the people of Pakistan. Let us be better Shias and closer to God. And any hajat that any Muslim has. Subhanalladhi biyadihi ma lakota kulli shay'in wa ilayhi tarja'un. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa
Muhammad. Please recite a Surah Fatiha for So we've been talking about dua, and I gave two examples of people who were given duas, whether or not they were looking for them. They saw the power of the dua, and when the result that they were hoping to get from the dua was obtained, they still weren't willing to accept the power of dua. And so it's important that there have been times when I've had problems I needed solved, and I've made an intention. I'm going to go home and do certain dua, and before I even got home, the problem was solved just by the intention, right? So the intention of when you're given a dua, right? If I tell you that I have a dua for your Rosie, and you get excited as if I gave you $100, that's where your dua has power. But if I give you $100, you get more excited than that. I give you a dua that's going to make you a baller, and you get less excited about that. That shows what you value more, right? I mean, I'm breaking it down to very simple math, right? But that's not, I just want everyone to understand that the maximum power of your dua is in the maximum power in your intention, right? The clarity in your intention, the conviction, your certainty in your intention, right? So I can sit and go on all night about that, but I want you to hear from another one of our brothers a example of his dua. Bar Muhammad wa ala Muhammad sallallahu Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
So a little story. Basically, Komail was telling us about the 40 nights of prayer, the power of prayer. This is somewhat related to it. So I was telling Komail how at work I was struggling a little bit to, keep up with my quota. And then Komail just told me, do tasbih of Bibi Fatima. And I've been doing that for the last week. And just after, whenever I remember after my namazes, and alhamdulillah, like all my work stuff is just like I feel like the juice back, and it's helping a lot. So just a tip that Komail gave me that has been helping me, just a little, takes like 30 seconds, a minute to just do the tasbih, and you just feel that power. You're thanking God, you're saying God is one, and you're just asking for blessings and receiving blessings that way.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. So you see, this is an example of how dua can affect your life. If when I gave, from giving Hadi the tip, he got his juice back. You see what I'm saying? Just that little prayer of doing, Tasbih Bibi Fatima, right? He said it takes 30 seconds to do, right? And then this is something that we can all use in our daily life, right? And it just comes down to, how certain are you? And like I remember the conversation I had with Hadi. I told him that. He was like, all right, I'm gonna go right now. I'm gonna go do that. He wasn't like, okay, I guess I'll try it. Oh, well, let's see if it works. It wasn't anything like that. He's like, okay, cool, thank you. I'll try that. And he tried it. I had no doubt it would work. He had no doubt it would work. And mashallah, he's been doing a lot better at his work. So obviously, Hadi's dua has some, Hadi, you're up next. Has some, yeah, you're next. Obviously, Hadi's dua has, been has a track record now of listening, right? So let's do the best thing we can, and let's have Hadi come and ask for forgiveness for us on by reciting Dua Komail on our behalf of our parents, right? And so, inshallah, may Allah continue to grant His dua and forgive us and all our sins on this night. Bar Muhammad wa ala Muhammad sallallahu Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Salawat. Wow.
Surah Fatiha. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil. Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. Let's pull up the اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وجل. In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful, all praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds, the most merciful, the most beneficial, sovereign of the day of recompense. It is you we worship and you we ask for help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those upon whom you have bestowed favor, not of those who have evoked your anger or of those who are astray. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wajil farj. One sec, I'm just pulling up Dua Komail. I'm going to read the Dua Komail all in English today. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. In the name of Allah, the all merciful, the all compassionate. O Allah, I ask you by your mercy, which embraces all things, and by your strength through which you dominate all things, and toward which all things are humble, and before which all things are lowly, and by your invincibility through which you overwhelmest all things, and by your might which nothing can resist, and by your tremendousness which has filled all things, by your force which towers over all things, and by your face which subsists after the annihilation of all things, and by your names which have filled the foundations of all things, and by your knowledge which encompasses all things, and by the light of your face through which all things are illumined. O light, O all holy, O first of those who are first, and O last of those who are last. O Allah, forgive me those sins which tear apart safeguards. O Allah, forgive me those sins which draw down adversities. O Allah, forgive me those sins which alter blessings. O Allah, forgive me those sins which hold back supplication. O Allah, forgive me those sins which cut down the hopes. O Allah, forgive me those sins which draw down tribulation. O Allah, forgive me every sin I have committed and every mistake I have made. O Allah, verily I seek nearness to you through the remembrance of you, and I seek intercession from you with yourself. And I ask you through your munificence to bring me near to your proximity, and to provide me with gratitude towards you, and to inspire me with your remembrance. O Allah, verily I ask you with the asking of a submissive, a base and lowly man to show me forbearance, to have mercy on me, and to make me satisfied and content with your appointment and make me humble in every state. O Allah, I ask you the question of one whose indigence is extreme, and who has stated to you in difficulties his need, and whose desire for what is with you has become great. O Allah, your force is tremendous, your place is lofty, and your plan is hidden, your command is manifest, and your domination is overwhelming, your power is unhindered, and escape from your governance is impossible. O Allah, I find no forgiver of my sins, nor concealer of my ugly acts, nor transformer of any of my ugly acts into good acts but you. There is no God but you. Glory be to you, and thine is the praise. I have wronged myself, I have been audacious in my ignorance, and have depended upon your ancient remembrance of me and your favor toward me. O Allah, my protector, how many ugly things you hast concealed, how many burdensome tribulations you hast abolished, and how many stumbles you hast prevented. and how many ordeals you hast repelled, and how much beautiful praise for which I was unworthy you hast spread abroad. O Allah, my tribulation is tremendous, and my bad state is excessive, and my acts are inadequate, and my fetters have tied me down, and my far-fetched hopes have held me back from my gain. And this world with its delusions, my own soul with its offenses, and my delay have deceived me. O my master, so I ask you by your might not to let my evil works and acts veil my supplication from you, and not to disgrace me through the hidden things you knowest of my secrets, and not to hasten me to punishment for what I have done in private, my evil acts in secrecy and my misdeeds, and my continuous negligence and my ignorance, and my manifold passions and my forgetfulness. And by your might, O Allah, be kind to me in all states, and be gracious to me in all affairs. My God and my Lord, have I any but you from whom to ask removal of my affliction and regard for my affairs? My God and my protector, you put into effort through me a decree in which I have followed the caprice of my own soul, and I did not remain wary of adorning my enemy. So he deluded me through my soul's caprice, and therein destiny favored him. So in what was put into effect through me in that situation, I transgressed some of your statutes and disobeyed some of your commands. So thine is the argument against me in all of that. I have no argument in what your destiny put into effect through me therein, nor in what your decree and your tribulation imposed upon me. Now I have come to you, my God, after my shortcoming and my immoderation toward myself, proffering my excuse, regretful, broken, apologizing, asking forgiveness, repenting, acknowledging, submissive, confessing. I find no place to flee from what occurred through me, nor any place of escape to which I may turn in my affairs, other than your acceptance of my excuse and your entering me into the compass of your mercy. O Allah, so accept my excuse, have mercy upon the severity of my affliction, and release me from the tightness of my fetters. My Lord, have mercy upon the weakness of my body, the thinness of my skin, and the frailty of my bones. O you who gave rise to my creation, to the remembrance of me, to the nurture of me, to goodness towards me, and to nourishment on me. Bestow upon me for the sake of your having given rise to me with generosity and your previous goodness to me. O Allah, my Master and my Lord, canst you see yourself tormenting me with your fire after I have professed your unity? And after the knowledge of you my heart has embraced, and the remembrance of you my tongue has constantly mentioned, and the love of you to which my mind has clung, and after the sincerity of my confession and my supplication, humble before your Lordship? Far it be from you. You art more generous than that. You should squander him whom you hast nurtured, or banish him whom you hast brought nigh, or drive away him whom you hast given an abode, or submit to tribulation him whom you hast spared and shown mercy. Would that I knew, my Master, my God, and my protector, whether you wilt give the fire dominion over faces fallen down prostrate before your tremendousness, and over tongues voicing sincerely the profession of your unity and giving thanks to you in praise, and over hearts acknowledging your divinity through verification, and over minds encompassing knowledge of you until they have become humble, and over bodily members speeding to the places of your worship in obedience and beckoning for your forgiveness and submission. No such opinion is held of you, nor has such been reported, thanks to your bounty concerning you. O all generous, my Lord, and you knowest my weakness before a little of this world's tribulations and punishments, and before those ordeals which befall its inhabitants, even though it is a tribulation and ordeal whose stay is short, whose subsistence is but little, and whose period is but fleeting. So how can I endure the tribulations of the next world and the great ordeals that occur within it? For it is a tribulation whose period is long, whose station endures, and whose sufferers are given no respite, since it only occurs as a result of your wrath, your vengeance, and your anger. And these cannot be withstood by the heavens and the earth. O Master, so what about me? For I am your weak, lowly, base, wretched, and miserable slave. My God, my Lord, my Master, my Protector, for which things would I complain to you? And for which of them would I lament and weep? For the pain and severity of chastisement, or for the length and period of tribulation? So if you takest me to the punishments with your enemies, and gatherest me with the people of your tribulation, and separatest me from your friends and saints. Then suppose, my God, my Master, my Protector, and my Lord, that I am able to endure your chastisement. How can I endure separation from you? And suppose that I am able to endure the heat of your fire. How can I endure not gazing upon your generosity? Or how can I dwell in the fire while my hope is your pardon? So by your might, my Master and my Protector, I swear sincerely, if you leavest me with speech, I will lament to you from the midst of the earth of the fire's inhabitants with lamentation of the hopeful. I will cry to you with the cry of those crying for help. I will weep to you with the weeping of the bereft. And I will call to you, where art thou? Where art you, O sponsor of the believers? O goal of the hopes of your knowers? O aid of those who seek assistance? O friend of the hearts of the sincere? And O God of all the world's inhabitants? Canst you see yourself? Glory be to you, my God, and thine is the praise, hearing within the fire the voice of a slave surrendered to you, imprisoned there because of his violations, tasting the favorites of its torment because of his disobedience, and confined within its levels because of his sin and crime, while he laments to you with the lament of one hopeful for your mercy, and calls to you with the tongue of those who profess your unity, and entreats you by your lordship. My Protector, so how should he remain in the chastisement, while he has hope for your previous clemency? Or how should the fire cause him pain while he expects your bounty and mercy? Or how should its flames burn him while you hearest his voice and seest his place? Or how should its groaning encompass him while you knowest his weakness? Or how should he be convulsed among its levels, while you knowest his sincerity? Or how should its keepers torture him while he calls out to you, O Lord? Or how should he have hope of your bounty and freeing him from it, while you abandonest him within it? Far be it from you, that is not what is expected of you, nor what is well known of your bounty, nor it is similar to the goodness and kindness you hast shown to those who profess your unity. So I declare with certainty that were it not for what you hast decreed concerning the chastisement of your deniers, and what you hast foreordained concerning the everlasting home of those who stubbornly resist, you would make the fire, all of it, coolness and safety, and no one would have a place of rest or abode within it. But you, holy are your names, has sworn that you will fill it with the unbelievers, both jinn and man together, and that you will place those who stubbornly resist therein forever. And you, majestic as your eulogy, said at the beginning, and weren't gracious through kindness as a favor. What is he who has been believer like unto him who has been ungodly? They are not equal. My God and my Master, so I ask you by the power you hast apportioned, and by the decision which you hast determined and imposed, and through which you hast overcome him and toward whom it has been put into effect, that you forgivest me in this night and at this hour, every offense I have committed, and every sin I have performed, and every ugly thing I have concealed, and every folly I have enacted, whether I have hidden or announced it, or I have concealed it or manifested it, and every evil act which you hast commanded the noble writers to record, those whom you hast appointed to watch over what appears from me, and whom you hast made, along with my bodily members, witness against me. And you washed yourself the watcher over me from behind them, and the witness of what is hidden from them. But through your mercy you concealed it, and through your bounty you veiled it. And I ask you that you bestowest upon me an abundant share of every good you sendest down, or kindness you conferrest, or goodness you unfoldest, or provision you spreadest out, or sin you forgivest, or error you coverest. My Lord, my Lord, my Lord, my God, my Master, my Protector, owner of my bondage. O he in whose hand is my forelock. O he who knows my affliction and my misery. O he who is aware of my poverty and indigence. My Lord, my Lord, my Lord, I ask you by your truth and your holiness, and the greatest of your attributes and names, that you makest my times in the night and the day inhabited by your remembrance, and joined to your service, and my works acceptable to you, so that my works and my litanies may all be a single litany, and my occupation with your service everlasting. My Master, O he upon whom I depend, O he to whom I complain about my states, my Lord, my Lord, my Lord, Strengthen my bodily members in your service, and fortify my ribs in determination, and bestow upon me earnestness in my fear of you, and continuity in my being joined to your service, so that I may move easily toward you in the battlefields of the foremost, and hurry to you among the prominent, and desire fervently your proximity among the fervently desirous, and move nearer to you with the nearness of the sincere, and fear you with the fear of those who have certitude, and gather with the believers in your vicinity. O Allah, whoever desires evil for me, desire it for him. Whoever deceives me, deceive him, and make me one of the most excellent of your slaves in portion from you, and the nearest of them in station to you, and the most elected of them in proximity to you. For that cannot be attained except by your bounty, and grant generously to me through your munificence. And incline toward me with your splendor, and protect me with your mercy, and make my tongue remember you without ceasing, and make my heart enthralled by your love, and be gracious to me by answering me favorably, and nullify my slips, and forgive my lapses. For you hast decreed your worship for your servants, and commanded them to supplicate you, and assured them that they would be answered. So toward you, my Lord, I have turned my face, and toward you, my Lord, I have extended my hand. So by your might, comply with my supplication, and make me attain my desires. Do not sever my hoping for your favors, and spare me the evil of my enemies from among the jinn and men. O he whose pleasure is quickly achieved, forgive him who owns nothing but supplication, for you dost what you wilt. O he whose name is a remedy, whose remembrance is a cure, and whose obedience is wealth. Have mercy upon him whose capital is hope, and whose weapon is tears. O ample in blessings, O repeller of adversities, O light of those who are lonely in the darkness, O knower who was never taught. Bless Muhammad and Muhammad's household, and do with me what is worthy of you. And Allah bless his messenger and the holy imams of his household, and give them abundant peace. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa jafar. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa jafar. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa jafar.
Will you do it fine? Will you do it fine? Please recite a Surah Fatiha.
Salawat.
She recites Surah Jummah.
Surah Jummah. Salawat.
We're going to recite Surah Jummah now. When you recite Surah Jummah on Thursday nights, Allah forgives your sins from the previous week, forgives all your sins, and keeps shaitan away from you for the week leading up to next Thursday. So there's a lot of benefits of forgiveness in reciting Surah Jummah tonight. Bismillah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yusabbihu lillahi ma fis samawati wa ma fil ardil al-maliki al-quddus al-aziz al-hakim. Huwa alladhi ba'asa fil ummina rasulam minhum yatlu alayhim ayatihi wa yuzakkihim wa yu'allimuhumul kitaba wal hikmata wa in kanu min qablu lafi zalalin mubin wa akharina minhum lamma yalhaqu bihim wa huwa al-azizul hakim. Dhalika fadlullahi yu'tihi man yasha wallahu dhul fadlil azim. Masalul ladina hummilul at-tawrata summa lam yahmiluha يحملها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا بئس مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآيات الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. قل يا أيها الذين هادوا إن زعمتم أنكم أولياء لله من دون الناس فتمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين ولا يتمنونه أبدا بما قدمت أيديهم والله عليم بالظالمين. قل إن الموت الذي تفرون منه فإنه ملقيكم ثم تردون إلي علم الغيب والشهادات فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلوات من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلي ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. فإذا قضيت الصلوات فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. وإذا رأوا تجارة أو لهوا انفضوا إليها وتركوك فإما قل ما عند الله خير من الله ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى صلوات.
MashaAllah, brother. Up next we have Dua Forage. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Ilahi yadmul bala wa barha al-khafa wa inkashafat al-kitha wa inkathat al-raja wa dagat al-ardu wa munat al-sama wa anta al-musta'an wa alayka al-mushtaka wa alayka al-mawla fi shaddati wa-raka. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد أولي الأمر الذين فرضت علينا تحتهم وعرفتنا بذلك منزلتهم ففرج عنا بحقهم فرجا عاجلا قريبا كلم البصر أو أقرب يا محمد يا علي يا علي يا محمد اكفياني فإنكما كافيان وانصراني فإنكما ناصران يا مولانا يا صاحب الزمان الغوث 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 يدركني 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 أسا 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 الأجل 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 أو ماهمين بحق محمد وآله الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد. Zahra. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum ya warita Adam Sufiyullah. Assalamu alaikum ya warita Nuhi Nabiullah. Assalamu alaikum ya warita Ibrahim al-Khalilullah. Assalamu alaikum ya warita Musa Khalimullah. Assalamu alaikum ya warita Isa Ruhullah. Assalamu alaikum ya warita Muhammadin Habibullah. Assalamu alaikum ya warita Amir al-Mu'minin. Wali ilallah. Assalamu alaikum ya Muhammad ibn al-Mustafa. Assalamu alaikum ya Ali al-Murtaza. Assalamu alaikum ya Fatima al-Zahra. Assalamu alaikum ya Khadija al-Kubra. Assalamu alaikum ya Tahir Allahi wa ibn Tahir Allahi wa ibn Tahir الطاهري والوتر الموتور أشهد أنك قد أكملت الصلوات وآتيت الزكاة وأمرت بالمعروف ونهينا المنكر وأطعت الله ورسوله حتى أتاك اليقين فلعن الله أمة قتلتك فلعن الله أمة ظلمتك ولعن الله أمة سميت بذلك فرازيت يا مولاي يا عبد الله أشهد أنك كنت نورا في الأشلب الشامكات وأرحم المطهرة لم تنجسك الجاهلية بأنجاسها ولم تلبسك من مدلهم متاتها بها وأشهد أنك من دعائم الدين وأركان المؤمنين وأشهد أنك الإمام البرتكي يرزكي هادي المهدي وأشهد أن الإمامة والدك كلمة تقوى والله الهدى والأروة الوثقى والحجة على أهل الدنيا وأشهد أن الله وملائكته وأنبياءه ورسوله أن بكم مؤمنون وبكم مؤمنون بشري ديني خواتيم أملي وقلبي لكلبكم سلم وأمري لأمركم متابع صلوات الله عليكم وعلى أرواحكم وعلى جازتكم وعلى أسامكم وعلى شاهدكم وعلى غائبكم وعلى ظاهركم وعلى باطنكم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم زارت حضرت العباس بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليك يا أبا الفضل العباس ابن أمير المؤمنين السلام عليك يا ابن السيد الوسيان السلام عليك أيها العبد الصالح عليه المطيع لله ورسوله السلام عليك يا أفضل الشهداء السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته زارت إمام حسين عليه السلام السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء السلام عليك يا أبا الفضل العباس السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته جاءت إمام علي بن موسى عليه السلام السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء السلام عليك يا علي بن موسى الرضا السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته زارت إمام مهدي عليه السلام السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن الأمان 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 السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم وحجت بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم كل وليك الحجة الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا ناصرا ودليلا وإنا حتى تسكنه أرضك توا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. Thank you for joining us today for the Komail program. Inshallah, our deeds and ibadat gets kabul. For that, let's give a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. Inshallah, please tune in next week for our Komail program. Just a quick announcement that we will be having Karbala Poetry Night on 23rd of September, which is a Saturday. Please attend. Anybody who wants to volunteer, please go ahead and let us know. Just to let everybody know that al-Asr is helping out with the donations for Pakistan. So we're going to be for the floods and the news that's been happening out there. So we're going to be sending out an email regarding donations and stuff that will be going straight to over there for helping the need. With that, let's go ahead and end tonight with the love salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wajil farjahum. Nare